Good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to which is one of your favourite, if not all of your favourite, award-winning Crafters TV show. That is, of course, Craft Along. My name is Craig Laird, as you can see just down the bottom there. And we've got 2 hours, I say jam-packed. It is jam-packed, but it's jam-packed full of a step-by-step Craft Along, which is all about our timeless butterflies. Who's going to be doing the Craft Along? Well, if you've seen Wake Up Call earlier on, you will know by now. Wake Up Call, Craft Along, Cartload later on. It's myself, the one, the only, Debbie Robinson's here.
Oh, I love that. Thank you very much. Yes, I'm really excited. Love these shows. I love the real-time crafted part of it.
Yes.
I think it's a really great opportunity to join us for real-time crafting, something that I find we do really uniquely here at Crafters TV, because obviously you'll have seen the launch. I did the launch a few weeks back of the timeless butterflies at the time of my life. You've seen many of the experts use them since as well, but we always promise you that when we bring something as a launch, we're going to give you and follow up in a few weeks' time a Craft Along project. And it's always our head-scratching moments, isn't it, Craig, where we think, what can we do? What can we do? And I was going down the home decor line, but then I thought, no, I'm going to bring it into card making.
Yeah. So
this is what we're going to be doing today, and it's called a tower flap card. There's no other way to describe it. I picked this up off an internet. I went onto YouTube and saw all those wonderful, talented designers that are out there. And I did a smaller version in a previous show, not a Craft Along. So I thought, right, I'm going to make it bigger. I'm going to fit it in with the theme of the butterflies. And this is your tower flap card. Now, it looks extremely difficult. It is extremely easy. Please do not be put off. It's a lot easier than it looks.
Okay.
And I promise you, I'm going to take you through step by step. We're going to do all the die cutting. We're going to do all the step by step cutting of the butterflies. We're going to do everything from start to finish. Hopefully, fingers crossed, in 2 hours. I always try and time myself and pace myself.
I do as well.
And I always think about breaks in between, a little bit of chit-chat, a bit of gossip and all that kind of thing. And so I try and pace myself. I did get it under that, so fingers crossed that this works. But I tell you something, if it doesn't, don't worry, because you'll be able to finish it off in your own time if you want to. But we're going to get the bare bones of how to use these timeless butterflies and how to construct this lovely folk card that you're going to be able to take into other aspects of your crafty life.
Absolutely. We gave you a little show of it earlier on in Wake Up Call. So many of you said, cannot wait for this Craft Along. But what do you need if you want to make exactly what Debbie's doing? You're going to need your Timeless Butterflies collection. You're going to need your mini dies. You're going to need your Happy Birthday and Special Friends. You're also going to need your Vintage Butterfly. That's your 12x12 paper pad and your A4 Luxury Pearlescent cardstock. And then you're going to need some of your multi-purpose cardstock. Then your additional elements, you're going to need your Collal all-purpose glue, you're going to need your tacky glue, you're going to need your 3D glue gel, your tape pen, you're going to need your die cutting machine. Debbie's going to be using the large Gemini. You're going to need your Score Master, your Guillotine, and also some gems to decorate it as well. So if you are wanting to create, as I say, exactly what Debbie's going to be making, that is what you're going to need. Of course, you might follow along her template, but use maybe Christmas collection, another nature garden. It's entirely up to you if you do that or not, but it is all about the timeless butterflies. Now, although the Craft Along is about the timeless butterflies, you may not already have your hands on the collection. Good thing with Craft Along and all of our shows on Crafters TV, they stay forever and ever and ever and ever across on our YouTube. So you can get this home and then you can be crafting along with Debbie. Okay, it won't be live, but you'll be able to craft along with her still. That is using the timeless butterfly die collection with the paper pad, and you're also got the ability to do the download of the paper pad as well once you've used them all. $19.99 or $22.95. That is giving you that full set we're away to show you. Platinum price does come down to $15.99 or $18.36. And on top of all of that, you're going to get 100 extra bonus points as well, which is amazing. This is what the collection entails, and you get loads when it comes to this collection. Now, you're going to get 31 butterfly dies, all different shapes and sizes, and then you're also going to get 24 of your printed butterfly sheets. So these ones here are going to overlap on top of your butterfly papers, and they're going to cut out that looks like that. These are all numbered, on the back of the die and the actual front of the paper pad. However, you do get a template as well that you can overlay and match up the die to the paper. But you also, as I referred to a moment ago, there is a download link on the back of the packaging that you can download this time and time again. It downloads at 6x6, so you don't need to do anything. Just download it, print it out, and lay your butterflies over the top, and then you can start getting creating. Whether it is going to be on your cards, whether it's going to be home decor projects, little embellishments, that's up to you. Please also remember, these are what we would say is our standard wafer thin dies. So as Debbie showed you earlier on Wake Up Call, think of all your different cardstocks, materials that will cut as well, not just the paper pad. So that's what Debbie's going to be using when it comes to the craft along. But we're not alone. We've got a craft along guest. We've got Rhonda, who's, well, from the Chicago area. Good afternoon. Well, good morning, Rhonda. So nice to see you joining us on Craft Along. Are you well?
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Hey. We can see you.
There we go.
Well? Can you, yeah, you hear me? I think, yeah, you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Yeah, perfect. How are you doing today, Rhonda?
I'm doing pretty good.
Excellent. Have you been crafting away already before this show?
Well, I got everything ready last night.
Good, good. Excellent. What is it that you're looking forward to about this craft along?
Well, I love the timeless butterflies. I mean, I love butterflies. Who doesn't love butterflies?
Exactly.
So.
Really, really beautiful. We're going to be popping back and forwards, having a chat with you, seeing how you're going to be getting on. If you need Debbie to recap anything, just hold your hands up, give us a shout. George and Johnny in the gallery, they'll put you through and we can refer back to Debbie. So if you are ready, Rhonda, I think we're just about ready. Yes? Excellent. Yes. I think Susie is ready on the comments. We've got Evelyn, we've got Sarah Brown, we've got Crafty Angie, we've got Kathy, Mary, Angela, Mary Pat, Patsy, Eleanor, all joining us. Bonnie is from Ohio. We've got Mary Beth saying hello again from Minnesota. And Eleanor on Facebook is saying, I really love those butterfly collections. You can do so much with them. You absolutely can. I know loads of you are going to be crafting along, but if you can, do let us know in the comments how you're getting on. If you need any questions, if you need me to shout across to Debbie and say, Debbie, can you give us a recap? You let us know and we will do that for sure. There's all the details along the bottom. I think now it's time for me to just relax for a little bit, read your comments coming through, and Debbie, it is over to you.
Absolutely. So I thought, in my head I was thinking, we'll start with the butterflies, we'll do all the die cutting, we'll put them to one side and we'll put the card together. I think I'm going to do it the other way around, Craig. Okay. I think we're going to get the bare bones of the fold done first. And I think that's important because I can show you this and you may already know how to use them. But this might be the first time that you're tuning in. So I'm going to show you how you're going to use this sheet along with your dies to create your beautiful timeless butterflies. So we're just going to put those to one side for the time being. What I want you to bring in is your multi-purpose cardstock. So multi-purpose cardstock, I'm laying it on the landscape way, nearly said it the wrong way, the landscape way, because I'm going to chop this down. So we're going to chop it down to 10.5 inches by 7.5 inches. So the first thing we're going to do is bring in our guillotine. We're going to extend the leg or the arm, or whatever way you call it. I call it a leg. So I've extended the leg, pulled it out into the fullest. Always make sure that this is totally full out. It'll make a difference when you're measuring, so please be aware of that. Bringing up the multi-purpose card on that landscape way, we're going to take it to the 10.5 inch mark. Always remember that this is a workable scoreboard. So all of the markings that we have on here need to be just before that mark. So there's like a little groove in each one, including on the leg, which sounds bizarre, but that's how it's been designed this. So always make sure 10.5, and we didn't want to complicate things. We didn't want to do two different things. So that's why it's across the board. Up to the 10.5 mark, snip down. We're then going to turn it onto the portrait way, so the short side, long side, okay, short side, take it to there, and we're going to measure at the 7.5. Now the 7.5 marking is the one just after the board finishes. So you take it up to the 7.5, make sure this is flush up to your cardstock. And I always repeat this, and I do sound like a broken record when I do these classes, Craig. However, I think it's important to learn how to use it.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't, and you've just got it slightly off, it'll take the whole measurement out. And it can affect your fold, it can affect everything for your mat and your layers.
Oh, it can.
So it's always important to get that little bit right. Now, this is going to be the bare bones of your cube, is exactly what this is. So I'm just going to push the leg back in. I'm going to just dispose of my 2 little pieces here. And we're going to bring in our scoreboard.
Okay.
So fetch your scoreboard in, either will work. So your Scoremaster, you just need to change it up a little bit if you're using your Scoremaster because it's a smaller surface.
Got you.
So I'm going to use my big score. So I've brought my big score out. I'm going on the inches side.
Right.
So on the inches, and again, we're going to lay it on the long edge. So we're popping it across the landscape way. And we're going to put some markings in here, some score lines in here. And it is 2.5 inches. Again, make sure flush up to that side of the board. So we're going to go in at 2.5 inches. Nice gentle score lines as well. So 2.5, 5, 7.5,
Okay.
and 10.
Perfect.
So I'll just repeat that again for you. So on the long side, we're going in at 2.5, 5, 7.5, and 10. And literally all you're going to do, this will be the start of your main part. And I've done similar projects like this in the past in terms of a cube, but you need something for the main part of all your flaps to stick onto.
Okay.
So this is that base.
Right.
So nice burnish. We're going to burnish every single one of those score lines in. Do you ever get asked the question of which way you fold it in once you've scored it? Well, I simply take it into that fold. So that's all I do.
Yeah.
And it means that you've broke those fibres nice and evenly. And that's the basis of your cube. And we're going to stick that straight down, Craig.
Okay.
So we're going to get that little bit done. Now, this part, you can put red liner tape on. You can choose a tape pen. I think really this is going to be your own choice. I know this is super strong glue.
Yeah.
I know this is going to work perfectly fine. So I'm just going to take that onto that little, and I call it the little flap or tab.
Flap.
I knew I'd come out with a different word for it every time. So the glue just needs to go on this small part, this small tab, and literally to fold it in, just flatten it and bring that forward, keep it flush, and again, I just reinforce every single one. I go around each single time and reinforce every one, and it creates the cube part. That's your cube part. That is the middle centre of this. It's that easy.
Crazy to think how simple
Crazy,
that is,
yeah.
isn't it?
I love cube cards. I'm always, honestly, it's one of my favourite types of folds, and I'm always trying to think of different ways that you can make a cube card all the time. But that's going to be the basis of your card. So that's going to be the main part. So I'll repeat the measurements. 10.5 inches by 7.5 inches. And on the long side, or the landscape side, we score at 2.5, 5, 7.5, and 10. Burnish every single line. On the small tab that you have down the side, the 1/2 inch tab, put your glue and then stick that together to create your cube. And then we're going to move on to all the tabs. Now there is a bit of cutting with this, Craig, because I like to make you work during the craft along. Yeah. I like to keep you on your toes. So we've got a lot of cutting in terms of all of these flaps that stick onto that cube. Just turn that around.
That looks fab.
There is 12.
12.
Not that I want to put you off, but there is 12 of them. So this is when you're going to bring back in your guillotine. You're going to bring back in, and I'm just going to move the scoreboard out of the way for the time being.
Okay.
So actually, to be fair, I don't even think we need the scoreboard anymore now, Craig, so you can put your scoreboard away. But you're going to need 12 full panels that are going to measure in at 5 inches by 2.5. And I'll tell you for the reason why we're doing this and why I've made this bigger, because the last one I did was a small, compact one. But in terms of your flaps that stick off, tabs that stick off, I don't know where to call it, because it's called a tower flap cube card.
Yeah.
So you just double the size. So we know that there's a 2.5 base. We need 3 levels.
Right.
So the reason I've got to the 2.5, and I just want to give you that little bit of reasoning, because you can make this to any size you want, as long as you remember the proportions.
Got ya.
So this is 2.5, so I know I need to double that up, so I know that my flap that's coming off is going to be 5 inches. To fit 3 on, this is 7.5 inches long. So I've gone for 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. You're getting your 3 flaps that go on either side. And the reason we go to 12 is because we've got 4 sides to cover. So 4 times 3 is 12. You can make this style of card any shape, any size you want in terms of the sizes. I've gone quite big here. It does flatten out to quite a big card. But we've got envelope makers, so you can make your own envelopes for anything. It's like Sarah always said, and the idea why the enveloper came into fruition was not to fit cards into envelopes. You fit your envelopes around the project.
Exactly.
You don't have to limit yourself, and that's why I've gone big with this one. So in terms of what we need now, we're going to cut those 12 pieces that measure 5 by 2.5. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Now, to get the longevity out of your cardstock, we're going to take it to 2.5 inches. And again, please do remember, this is really important, this bit. We need to make sure this is a true 2.5.
Absolutely.
If you go over, right up to that line, that is bigger than 2.5. It's a scoreboard. We have to make way, so we take the measure to the right-hand side of it. And I know you've often said this, Craig, it's really important that you get that little bit right.
So important. And
so 2.5 inches by 5, and we need 12 of those.
12 of them.
So, and again, longevity, I'm going to cut 2 that way, Craig, at 2.5 inches.
Right.
By 5, and then I'm just going to switch my cardstock around so I can get a little bit more out of it. So I'm going to turn it now onto this side, and I'm just going to repeat that.
Good
and you'll get
idea.
about 4 or 5, in fact, you'll probably get 4 out of this. So 3 pieces of cardstock and you've got your 12?
Yeah,
It's nothing really, is it?
So don't always cut your card in that same direction.
Yes.
Have a look to see how the panel size will fit so you can maximise.
Exactly, yeah. So I know that that's a fat. I can cut that to 5 and then I can get 2.5s out of that. So I'm just twisting it around. And I've got 3 already. In fact, I'm going to get 5 out of this one, Craig, so I'm really pleased with myself because I think I only did 4 at home. So again, 2.5 and another 2.5.
All from that one sheet.
All from that one sheet. So I've actually got, in total there, I've got 5 of those tabs out of one sheet of card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to continue. So you take your second sheet, because we want 12 in total. So I know if I play it the same way, and don't throw them scraps away, keep them for something else. I use them for sentiments and things like that.
Just a way to say what's left over. The way that you've cut that out, that size of A4 card, the bits that you've got left, these are going to be perfect for your little sentiment stamps, if you've got, or your sentiment die cuts as well. So yeah, great way of thinking of
including
it.
your butterfly die, because you've got 31 butterfly dies in there. You've got potential to use lots of those for butterflies, plain butterflies if you want to do as well. So just think about, you know, your cardstock. I'm a little bit, I know you are too as well, Craig, but I'm a bit frugal. I like to make it go a long way. I know you get 60 sheets in a pack, but I'm still a big believer if you can get as much as possible you can out of a single pack, that it's a big bonus, So again, I'm just going to keep doing that, Craig, until I've got...
I always say, Debbie, and I always hold my hands up, and I'm always honest, when I'm across on that side, you know at home if I'm using my own product. Because if I'm using my own product, you will see I am so stingy as anything. If I'm not using my product, if I'm using John and Tracy and Jake's product from the studio, you can kind of see that I'm just going willy-nilly and go, oh, it's all right, we'll use that little excess other time. So you can kind of tell. But yeah, when it's mine, I'm the same as you.
Exactly. So I've got 10 up to now, Craig, from 2 sheets. So I'm just going to go back in and just get my last 2 pieces out. And I think if I turn it that way and do 2.5, I'll be able to get 2 out of that one, won't I? Yes, I'm going to get the most out of this piece. I'm not going to waste this piece. I've got, if I reckon rightly, I can get me 2 pieces, my last 2 pieces out of there. So again, I'm trying to keep it to a minimum in terms of your thinking about how you use it. So that's my 12 pieces, all done and all dusted.
And that's not taking too long.
No,
at first
we're 20 minutes into the show.
Yeah.
And we've got, not only have we got spare bits, I mean, look at this, we've still got a nice big piece of cardstock there, so I'm not going to throw that, Craig. I'm going to keep that to one side and put those to one side. But we've got all of the large pieces. And if you think about it effectively, we've taken that from 1, 2, 3 and a bit sheets.
Wow, that's good.
Of cardstock. And bearing in mind, you know, if you've got the A3, I mean, I don't know about you, Craig, but I've got none left. Have we got it in stock yet, the A3 multi-purpose cardstock?
I think it's still out of stock.
I knew I'd go through it quick because I use A3 all the time at home. But if you're using A3, I think you reckon you could probably get it all out of one sheet. Possibly. Maybe one a little bit.
Yeah, possibly, actually.
Possibly, yeah. So just think about it that way. So that is all of the card base done. And we're going to start doing, I think what we'll do is, I'm going to do it before we start decorating. I'm going to put it together.
Okay.
I think is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
But I'm going to let Rhonda just have a little minute to catch up, because I know that this bit takes that little bit of time, especially when I'm talking and you're trying to concentrate and follow the instructions. But in terms of the card measurements again, you start with your main piece that measures 10.5 by 7.5, and you're going to score it at 2.5 inches, 5, 7.5 inches, 10 on that small 1/2 inch tab, glue, stick together to construct your cube. And in terms of your flaps, want of a better word, because that's what they're called. So sorry. Tabs.
Debbie, don't apologise for being you.
I can't think of any other word because that's what they're called. You need 12 pieces that measure 5 inches by 2.5 inches. You behave yourself, Johnny, in my ear. 12 pieces of 5 by 2.5. And that is the bones of your bare necessities of the card.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Two things there I know many of you'll be thankful. One is, thankfully, I'm just turning them down. They're having a little sing-song in my ear there. Two things. I know you said earlier on, Debbie, apologise if people already knew it. I think it's always key to show that guillotine.
Yes.
Even nowadays, if I explain it and say it, always make sure you go to that right-hand side of the line. So many people will say, Debbie, I didn't realise that. And I bet you there's some at home today thinking, didn't realise that till Debbie said that.
I take it for granted that everybody knows, and I keep forgetting we've got new viewers joining us
Absolutely.
the whole time. We've got viewers who've been with us a while who've never bought our guillotine. It is not just a guillotine. I always look at it as a twofer because you've got a guillotine and a workable scoreboard in there. And so I'm always aware that not everybody has got it. And so they don't know how to use. And I've had people tell me, first they've never realised they've had to pull the leg out fully. And we've had measurements go all skew with just because of those little things. And honestly, I had to learn that way. That's that. So I don't take it for granted anymore. I always try and remember that there's new people joining us all the time.
All the time.
And people that may possibly not know how to use it either. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, and it's always good to take the time within these craft-alongs to point out these elements while we're going through them. We're going to have a look at some paper pads just in a moment, but what we are going to do, before we have a look at comments, we're going to check in with Rhonda, who's busy crafting away from the Chicago area. How are you getting on, Rhonda? Are you following along just fine?
Yeah, perfect. I've got my stuff done.
Excellent. Are you going to be decorating it in the same way Debbie's doing it, or are you going to mix it up a little bit? No.
Nope.
You're keeping quiet on that one, Rhonda.
She's keeping that to herself. I love it,
Yeah,
Rhonda.
I love it. Well, if you do need to have a shout out and you need to ask Debbie or that, just give us a wave once again, and then we will dot back just shortly and see how you're getting on. As I said at the start, perfect. Thank you, Rhonda. We have got Susie on the comments today, this morning for you guys stateside. We've got Coletta saying good morning from a freezing Kansas. Howdy, Craig and Debbie. Do you know something? It's just as cold here in the northeast today, that's for sure. I don't know about you, Debbie. I've got my fleece down at the bottom. Johnny walked in the studio earlier on and goes, oh my gosh, it's freezing in here.
And there were me, and there's me going, oh, it's lovely in here, what are you on about? It's not cold at all.
But yeah, summary, I think it's, I can hear it starting to go already on the roof of the building. Patsy's saying good morning from Oklahoma. Barbara's saying hello everyone from Indiana. We've got Barbara on YouTube saying, I'm going to try this craft along. Excellent, that's what it's all about. Trying, following the steps. You've got that full length of show to follow along with Debbie. Nancy's saying good morning from Florida. Alison, from way up in my neck of the woods, from Aberdeenshire, is saying hi. We've got a lot of love for Rhonda. Valerie is saying Rhonda in big capital letters with loads of love hearts. Thea is saying, how nice to see Rhonda, such a nice person.
Aww.
Coletta is saying, Craig, I'm just catching up with Wake Up Call. I also love Muppets Christmas Carol. Thank you for that one, Coletta. My little sing-song earlier on. And we've got Christy Mahoney saying, looking forward to watching Debbie's craft along. I have to paint a picture for this weekend's painting party. Gosh, Christina, you've got all the P's in there, haven't you? That I am doing. So I'll definitely do this craft along at a later date. Love it. That's a good thing, Debbie. Either craft along live or come back. If you come back, you don't have the worry of me, the annoyance of me popping in here and saying different things. Fast forward me and just mute me if you want to. 2 questions. Stephen is saying, Debbie, will you be putting the measurements for this on your Facebook?
Yes, I am. And I've said I'm going to start getting into the habit when I've done a craft along to do that for you. But yes, I'll put them all on there. And I'll do it in my usual format because I usually take a picture and then put the measurements over it. I just try and just make it easy for myself. But yes, I will. You always have this craft along call back to. This particular style you can take in and use it in many different ways. I did it with the original. It was a smaller version I did. But I did it with the Say It With Style dies and stamps that we had out. So yes, so you can make them as small as big, use them with whatever collection you want. Like I said, if you just remember the equation of your cube and the length, you can't go wrong with this. And you can make them any size. The one that I did was like a little miniature one.
Oh,
it was only about this big. Really cute. I still love it and I keep it there. But I wanted to try and work out how big I could go with it. I could have gone bigger, I'm not going to lie. But because the Timeless Butterflies are a really lovely die set, I didn't want to take away. So although it's a fabulous card, I haven't took away from the butterflies. So again, think about the other collections that you might be able to use this style, this concept with. So yeah, I will do that for you, Stephen. So yeah, not a problem.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Just very quickly, one last thing as well, because I know I'm not going to answer for Debbie, but I know you guys know that Debbie's planned out a craft along in time for this show. But Kathy is asking, will Debbie be able to make an envelope to fit this card? I have issues making big envelopes and I even have the equipment. So I'm firing it across to you.
Well, if I get time, I'll have a look at that because I haven't got mine with me, but I'm pretty sure I can have a little look and see if I can fit it in because it is quite a big one when it lays flat.
It must be.
Because of the dimension that I've put on, personally myself, it would be an envelope box or a box that I would put it into if I was gifting this to someone. But the measurements, when it measures out flat, and it measures in at about 10-inch mark by about 7.5. So when you look about your measurements, and I don't know about you, Craig, but I like to leave a little bit of give. So I know it's 10, so I would take it to 10.5. I'd give that little bit of half-inch, that little bit of movement inside. You don't want something to be tight. You want to be able to take it in and take it out with a little bit of give.
Oh, definitely.
So that's why I would always take it. So I'll probably do that about 10.5 by 8 and then look towards those measurements, something around that size. But yeah, if we get time, we'll have a little look, not a problem. If not, I shall have a look at that when I get back to the base tonight. I'll have a little look and see if I can do something with it, possibly maybe do measurements and give you measurements on my Facebook
you know,
page.
which is great. You've verbally explained it, so that's really good as well. So that's a really good way for you to make your box, if you so wish. Now what we've got is something that's got 40% saving. We've got our vintage butterfly and country lane pads, £35 or $45. If you are platinum, it's going to come down to £28 or $36. All of these, of course, across on our website. So what is it you're getting exactly? You're getting your country lane 12 by 12. Double-sided papers here. One side, it's got a beautiful bold design, and then on the opposite side, it's more of that subtler background that we can see here. 36 sheets in total. You've got lovely vibrancy from oranges, lilacs. We've got going into some of the purples and fuchsias here, which actually would work well with some ink pads I'm away to show you. I love woodwork when it comes to pattern paper. You've got that within the pink as well as another colour coming up here. Really strong in the designs of florals. Of course, 12 by 12, perfect for your scrapbooking. However, you can just be chopping it down if you want to, into each sheet being 4 6 by 6 card fronts. You're going to get the linen cardstock that's going to complement being the country lane, this one being 20 sheets of your linen cardstock, your 4 beautiful colours with multiple sheets of each. Then we're going to have a look at the vintage butterfly. Remember, this is all in this bundle I'm showing you. 24 sheets, it is a pearl card. Once again, beautiful shades that runs through. Yes, that original collection, but as a standalone card pack, it works a treat. And last but by no means least, we're giving you 24 sheets of vellum. So these are also from your vintage butterflies, the 24 sheets of them, 8 by 8 in size. If you want something straight off the bat to make, go back, have a look at Debbie's wake-up call, our very first demo, showed you how you could use the vellums. Beautiful, elegant, and sophisticated. All of that, £35, $45. Cracking saving on that. However, it's going to come down more if you're platinum. £28 or $36 for you guys stateside. And then we've also got some quick dries. Now, these ones here, these were put together when the collection first launched, and we brought them back because they complement the timeless butterflies. All of these, as I say, quick dry. So we've got 8 in total. We've got plum jam. We've got lagoon. We've got honey pot. We've got, which I can now say with absolute ease, Debbie, Friar Brown, which both me and Debbie for such a long time couldn't say the word Friar.
I actually admitted to Leanne last week that that's what we used to. I said it was because of Leanne teaching us how to say Friar and remembering Robin Hood Friar Tuck.
Yeah.
And that's how we remembered it.
Crushed velvet as well, Bordeaux as well, twilight grey, and then you've also got your pink tulip. All of these ones are your quick dry butterfly ink pad collection, 8-pack. Does work out that you're getting one for free, £40, $60. Platinum price comes down to £32 or $48. It does say butterfly in the title, but of course you'd be using them elsewhere, all over your cards, your projects, certainly when it comes to your crafting. Right, comments coming through, but no questions as such anyway, so a lot of people must be ready to go for the next step. So Debbie,
Yep.
it's over to you again.
Lovely. So we're going to just construct that card. We'll do all the mats and layers in a second, and then we'll do the butterflies and then compose it all together. It looks difficult, this card concept, but it is super easy when you break it down like this. I want you to take 3 of those 12 pieces that I've given you, measurements wise, and you've done all the cutting. Now get your cube. Now this, I'm just going to do it this way just for the time being to show you how you're going to put this on. So I'm going to visually, I'll show you in a second what I will be doing, but visually we're going to place this lengthways. It's going to go the landscape, me and my portrait and landscapes today.
I'm the same.
Landscape way, and we're going to attach it just at this part,
Right.
not this. So this bit is left hanging. We're going to put one going across. We're going to take one from the right hand side and pop it across that way. So if I'm just going to lay these on top.
Yeah.
There's a reason why in a second that I'm going to lay it flat, because it's easier to stick together. And then the bottom one, and that is the first part done. And it really is that easy. Now, for me to make it easy, I wanted to just visually show you first before I do this,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
to make it easy for yourself in flattening it, I want you to flatten it out like this, but this part I want you to ignore. So I'm going to bring in, just to show you what I mean, I'm just going to bring in a piece of coloured cardstock, because we're going to concentrate where we're going to put the glue, and it's going to go down here.
Right.
So I'm going to put my glue. Now I'm going to use wet glue. This is entirely a personal choice, which is why I've put all those different glues on the shopping list. I'm always aware not everybody loves all-purpose glue. I do, because it's really fabulous. It helps me as well in terms of getting things straight.
It must be
Do
good
you know,
for
if
the
I've got it
style.
wonky or anything like that, if I've adhered it with a red liner tape or maybe possibly finger lift tape, or maybe because we all know how strong those are, including the
Absolutely.
tape pen. You try lifting that tape pen off your cardstock and you're going to do some damage. So if you could use any of them, but still put a bit of this on the back of it. But I'm going to go straight in with this, Craig. So I'm going to pop my glue, and I'm just going to take it. Again, the easiest way to do is to pop it over the base part of the card and bring this down. Now, in terms of you popping that on, you want to go flush up, so you've got half an hanging over. The lovely thing about this glue as well is if you do get a little bit of seepage, it's absolutely fine, Craig, but it gives me time to get it into place. Do you know, if it's gone a little bit wonky or anything like that, it's absolutely fine. I am actually just going to pop it down at the bottom as well. This piece is the one that's going to go that way, and that's why I've decided to show you as it was as the cube.
Makes sense.
Just so you can see it, because at the minute that looks a bit lost because it's white on white. So that's why I showed you in the cube version. But in terms of your glue, there's nothing to stop you from putting your glue all the way down, which is why you could put red liner tape all the way down, tape pen all the way down, absolutely fine. Just make sure you've got a good coverage of glue on there. You want it to stay stuck. But I'm just gonna, again, and I tend to do it this way, Craig, so I can make sure I line it up better. So I've got 2 coming off this way. I'll take that cube back up. Looks like a C at the minute.
It does, doesn't it?
It does. And then that part is
It's a
going
good
to stick
initial.
from this end. So you've got 2 coming from the left hand to the right hand side, at the top and the bottom, and this one from the right hand side to the left. Again, I'm going to flatten it, Craig, just because it makes it easier. And again, the reason why I choose a wet glue is the wiggle time.
wiggle.
If I've gone over, it doesn't matter, I can move it. I've got a fair few minutes to get that moved before it actually sticks and sets. But that is the first part done.
That's phenomenal.
And then you're just going to repeat that all the way around. So this is when it gets a bit tricky because obviously you've got, and you don't want to bend these. So for me, flatten it. Right, so you flatten it onto the next side. So I'm just going to turn that around again. That's the first one.
Okay.
We're going to work on this one. And we're going to do exactly the same. There's no twisting, there's no turning, it's exactly the same. So you get your next 3. I'm going to flatten it. I'm going to bring my cardstock on this side so you can see what I'm doing.
Okay.
But you're going to do exactly the same. You're going to glue and you're going to come across. And you're going to come across.
Opposite way.
All the same. Let me just bring that on because I don't want to confuse people. And I'm not going to stick it down just yet. But I just want to show you visually, without dark green there, you're going to stick them in the same place. It's exactly what you're going to do.
That's so
So
cool.
again, if you are using a tape pen, so if I pop the tape pen on there, I know that once I stick those down, ooh, it's going to be difficult to move if I ain't got it
It will.
right. So for me, make sure you've got a bit of the wet glue on as well. And do you know what you're doing there, Craig, at the end of the day? Double gluing.
Push it on.
Yeah, you're just making it stronger. So again, I'm just going to take my glue because I want to be able to have a bit of movement in case I've got my measurements, you know, a little bit off or anything like that. Because white on white can be tricky, I'm not going to lie, but it's the same thing. So we're going to pop that down. We're going to take it. So this is the bit that's not glued. We're going to line it up to the top. We're going to do the bottom part, and it's just the easier way to do it. You can do it in like second and third, but again, just pop that on. I'm going to visually flatten it up a minute just so I can see that everything's nice and flush and that everything folds. So in terms of folding the card, I'm just going to squeeze that out. There we go. And you can see now,
cool.
1, 2, and I think now you've got the gist of where I'm going with this.
Absolutely.
But again, I'm just going to make sure these are all lined up because I can see that I've got a bit of time to get them positioned.
That's it, you've got the time, haven't
Yeah,
you?
and
I
that's the
suppose
beauty.
With something like this, using your all-purpose, Debbie, and the fact of you may put a bit of glue on that wrong panel,
Yeah.
you wipe it off. Don't get me wrong, love tacky glue, it's great, but suppose if you put that on the wrong panel, it doesn't wipe off as easy like your all-purpose does.
Exactly. And so you can see now the 2 pieces, that's one side done, and it's going the same way. So what do you think we're going to do with that one, Craig? We're going to do exactly the same. So I'm going to flatten it. You take your next 3, and it's exactly the same. So you're going to come from the left-hand side to the right. This is the bit that's not sticking.
Mm-hmm.
The same with the bottom piece. It's going the same direction and the same stick. Stick, stick, loose, loose, and then sticking in the centre. So it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
You're working in the same direction the whole time. So again, bit of glue down the centre panel. Red liner tape, finger lift tape, glue, it's your choice. We all have favourites. Craig talks about his favourites. I talk about my favourites. I just want you to choose your favourite.
Absolutely.
But I just want you to remember where you're sticking it. So again, I'm going to start with the 2 bottom and top, and go in with that second one. And literally, once I've got that up, and I'm going to just bring this up again. Can you see? All the way around. How fantastic is this?
So cool.
Now, I will not lie to you, the last piece is the trickiest.
Okay.
Because the last piece, you've got bits sticking up absolutely everywhere. And so in terms of flattening it, you're going to just bring it down just for the time being. And again, think about it. I want you to ignore these 2 sides. We are putting them in the same place. This is where I need you to use a wet glue, because I'll show you why. The panel that you're going to stick on first, and please be careful with this last bit. This is the bit you don't want to stick.
Okay.
It's going the same way. So the top one and the bottom one, the same way. The very last one, we're going to slide underneath. So just for this particular style, and it looks complicated, but please bear with me, it isn't, it's really easy. In terms of your glue, you can go straight in, but I would say to you now, wet glue is your best option. I'm not one for getting my fingers and thumbs in fingers and thumbs, but I would do with this.
Yeah.
So again, I'm just going to lay it flat. I'm going to be careful not to stick that down. I'm going to hold it and anchor it. And again, I've got time to be able to position, slide it into place. This is wet glue. It gives me that time. It allows me time to get them in the right place. And then again, the same way. So that last piece just sticks underneath. Then you can flatten it and then you can position because you've covered the glue up. So in terms of your card, because this last piece it's like I said, the wet glue, it doesn't dry instantly. It gives you about, would you say about 2 or 3 minutes, Craig, maybe more?
Yeah,
Bit of
yeah,
time.
maybe about
Yeah,
that,
yeah, about that much time. Because that last bit that's the only trickiest bit of the card. And in terms of when you're folding it, fold it the other side as well, push it up, and you get it anchored into place. So what you end up with, and when I say this card is easy to do, how easy is that to do?
I didn't know how you were going to make it. We didn't talk about how you were making it before the show. I am seeing it for the first time like you are at home. How easy was that, Debbie?
And look at the wow factor it creates. It creates an illusion, it creates concept, it creates depth and dimension. And then to your heart's content, you decorate each panel. And I'm telling you, it's simple. It's a really easy mat and layer process. It depends on how many layers you want to put on there. But the actual construction, super easy. And I'm just going to hold it there so you can see. Doesn't that create a wow factor?
It does.
Just pop that there. And then flattens. And that's how you flatten your card. So it will stay flat and pop up.
The fact that it folds completely flat.
Yeah. The only bit that's going to give you dimension is what you're going to put on it. Because if you're keeping it flat and you're keeping all your layers flat and you're using perhaps other things, can't wait to see what Rhonda's got planned. I'm so excited.
I'm
so
intrigued as well.
But how easy was it to do? Can you believe it? When I first saw this design, I'll not lie, and it was the smaller one, it was about this big, my first thought was, good grief, how on earth is that possible? And then breaking it down into smaller sections, it's so easy. It's a really wow concept. I love it. Love anything like this. Anything that's got some dimension, anything that gives me a bit of a concept, and something a bit different.
Well,
it's a bit different, yeah.
It is different, isn't it? And you absolutely, the way that you split that down and you explain where each one goes. I would say, you know what I'm like, we talked about it before, I use dry adhesives a lot. I absolutely agree with you and do what you would do on that sort of style. Your wet glue with that movability is absolutely going to be the one for you, in our opinion. Anyway, that is for sure. I think we're just going to take a little bit of a break to let Debbie have a recap as to what. Perfect.
It's very simple with the mats and layers, but it's times 12. I hope you're ready for a bit of work. So we're going to do that next, and then we're going to go to those gorgeous timeless butterflies, and we're going to cut out butterflies to our art's content, and then we're going to decorate.
Well, I'm just hoping, well, we don't have Charlotte in today. We do have, of course, Johnny. I do hope they're going to give you some stick like they did a couple of weeks ago with my craft along, with my canvas and my twine wreath circle with myself and Ben. I got stick for that.
Did they give you a lot of stick, love?
Stick for it.
Oh. And how long did it take you at home to do?
I don't know, it took me the same amount of time here. I did, for anyone wondering, I'd done a canvas, I'd done a little circle wreath where I went round with twine all the way round. And I told everyone beforehand, I went, that part of it is going to take about 20 minutes. It's going to be me standing, we'll get Ben involved, we'll chat away, what have you. But Johnny and Charlotte didn't see that. And they gave me stick for standing there. They're saying it took long. It probably did take longer than 20 minutes. But then
I bet that's because of what ribbon you got.
Exactly.
I bet it is. I bet it's because of what ribbon.
But what did you think, Johnny, the craft along afterwards? Thank you, absolutely. But yeah, thank you for that one.
You're very
Debbie.
welcome. All I'm going to tell you to do is get your cardstock. So I've chosen from the vintage butterflies.
Perfect.
Because I love,
You
and
do.
I thought it worked with the timeless butterflies. I've chosen some greens. I've gone away from my normal colour. I've gone green. So I've chosen some greens that complement each other. You choose whatever cardstock, whatever paper. You don't have to have the vintage butterflies. Think about if you are using the timeless butterflies, what would work with it. That's all I need you to do. Choose a couple of sheets. of both, and we'll get cracking with those mats and layers in a second.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Debbie. That actually asked one of the questions that's just come through. Right, we're going to give you a little bit of a time to catch up if you need to. I'm sure many are already up to date. No questions about what Debbie's doing, which is good to see. However, if you do need to catch up or you want to get your hands on the collection, you want to join Club Inspire, take a look at this.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters' companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% off your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every pound, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
Here at Crafters TV, it couldn't be easier to get your hands on the latest crafty must-haves. Leave the hard work to us while you shop from the comforts of your own living room. Head to the Crafters Companion website to see our full crafty range, or hit the Shop the Day button to see all the new and exciting products featuring on Crafters TV. Once you've filled your cart, leave it to us to get your crafty goodies to you in super quick time, so you can get on with being creative. Crafters Companion, making crafty shopping a breeze. Here at Crafters TV, it couldn't be easier to get social with us. Whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, on your TV or tablet, you can get so close to the action, it's like you're in the studio with us. You can ask questions about products or crafty techniques. Get hints and tips from our expert demonstrators. Plus, share pictures of your crafty makes with our amazing community. Crafters TV, getting you closer to the crafty action.
We get to know people from places and walks of life that we wouldn't come across in our everyday life if it wasn't for Crafters TV and doing what we do.
I got so many lovely comments from people when I started doing the presenting, and it was just really such a lovely feeling. And it's nice that people keep messaging in. You know, we see the same people. We know you can build up that kind of relationship with those people. So it's just the fact that people like what we do and they're pleased. And I do love it when people send us photographs of the items that they've made.
We talk about customers, but really they go in as a customer, come out as a friend. The support that I get is amazing. The messages I get are amazing.
Me personally, it is personal interaction. I've never had the best of health. I've always been open about that with our viewers at Crafters TV. So many people are in the same situation as me health-wise. Other people have got a completely different health issues. They understand and they relate to what I'm going through, what others are going through. So whether we interact on a crafting basis or whether we interact on a health basis, a personal basis, we're all there to support one another. It is incredible.
The reaction of viewers when they come to meet us is worth all of the early mornings when we have to get up for our early morning shows.
Some of the customers come on as craft ambassadors and things like that, craft along with us, and being able to actually chat with them on air. I love it. I really love that connection with them.
We've had lots of shows where we've done like craft alongs, especially where we've had viewers craft along with us. We had a particular viewer, Joy, who joined us once before, and she literally made me cry on air, and Joe, because the things she said about us, it really was quite humbling that there are people out there that watch us and invite us into their living rooms and really treat us like family.
I believe I'm on with Ms. Fisher next week. myself, yeah. I am Tuesday, I'm on with Leanne. Leanne's at this side, I'm at that side.
I've got Leanne tomorrow.
Have you got it tomorrow?
Yeah.
I've got, I'm not showing you because we ran out of time, didn't we? But on Tuesday, I've got Say It With Flowers craft along.
Oh, I know. You're going to show me, aren't you?
I am indeed.
Yeah.
I am indeed.
Sounds magnificent.
Hope so anyway.
Oh,
Spent
it does. It sounds
ages
beautiful.
on it. And then at the end of next week, it's me and Debbie Fisher.
Oh,
I say I'm that side, she's that side, but we'll probably just be back and forwards, no doubt. Maggie is saying, I did the style a card for my brother's retirement after watching you make it
Maggie.
the last time.
Yes.
He loved it, Debbie.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Maggie's actually been up here to the studio. She did a lovely craft along with Michelle. And Maggie came to my Chesterfield demonstration when I went to Chesterfield over the birthday. But yes, Maggie did, because I did like I said, I did the small version, and she did one for her brother. Yeah, she sent me pictures and everything, beautiful, and he loved it because it's got that lovely wow factor. And like I said, you can use any. And in terms of sizes, you can use any size. We were saying this at the beginning. As long as you remember the depth of the size of the cube, the depth of the cube, you can work that out in terms of your 3 panels and in terms of how big your, and it sounds wrong when I say this, but how big those flaps will go. You just double it.
It's not.
There's no other way to say it. I'm so sorry. It sounds worse
Debbie,
when I say it.
it's not you. It's us immature guys that are about that just make it funny when it's not.
Yeah, because it is called, and the lady that had designed it, and that was on the smaller one, it was called a tower flap card.
Right.
And that's how it was. I look at it as a cube tower flap card. So yeah, and it's because you've got all the flaps coming off the end. We know what you mean. I mean, you could say tabs, but you wouldn't call it a tower tab card. That sounds bizarre. It's a tower flap card. That's the style of it.
Flaps sound better.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go. Laurie is saying good morning from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Dee Shah is saying, Debbie, thank you, what I was just talking about before. We've got Debbie saying, thank you for telling us about how to use the guillotine.
Oh.
I get confused where to measure. I'm loving the Timeless Butterfly collection. Craig, I love your banter. Hello from Kenya.
That's a lovely message.
And we're talking
From
about
Kenya?
Kenya.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I did, at the start there, we've got the flags come up, put the flags up. And I was having a look, I was like, what flag is that? Kenya, absolutely.
Wow.
And it is, just, you've put from Kenya as well. We've just got a couple more, because we've got a couple of questions I'll fire across to Debbie. Anna's saying hi from Texas. Bubble and Squeak is saying afternoon from Farm UK, Craig, Debbie and the team. We've also, oh, someone's at my door again. We've got Christine. Idris is saying good morning from Utah. Love this set. Might have to buy a second. We've got good morning. Beth is saying good morning from Minnesota. Go away. We've got Colette saying, Debbie, your instructions is so great for this. I am going to have to give this a try later on.
Please do. And you know what? I'm just going to ask Craig. Those who do, and I can't wait to see Rhonda's because I know she's obviously got something else planned, which I'm right excited about. Please share them on the socials and tag me in it so I can have a little look. We do go through our socials. I can't always do it all the time, but I do. And I see the notifications and I'll go over and have a little look. And messages wise, please do share us on the tag and show me what you're making with yours because I love this. Craft alongs are all about showing you how to use that product, which we'll be coming to. Don't bear in mind, we will be coming to that. But it's also about that tuition and that step-by-step instruction. And if you should have caught up by now, hopefully you have, fingers crossed. But it's a really nice fold to do, and it works beautifully with this collection, which is why I wanted to show you. So yeah.
Perfect. Right, 2 very quick questions.
Yes.
Charlotte is saying, if I want to mat and layer, should I decorate the panels first?
Good question.
Good question.
Me personally, I did. So I actually decorated those flaps first.
Yeah.
And then stuck it on. Because yes, you can. And it's a personal choice. It won't be hard to put them on once the fold's constructed. So if you've done this with me now, don't think, oh my God, now she's saying should have done it before. No, it doesn't matter. You can do it afterwards. There's no harm in doing it afterwards. But yes, if you want to, absolutely. Again, personal choice.
Yeah, and I think I should ask this one because this is going back to what you've done at the start, what you're away to do. Olga's saying, when I use all-purpose glue, I've noticed that if my card bends after drying, I hear a cracking sound and the paper mats come off. Am I not using enough, or is that normal?
Total honest, it sounds like using too much.
Think so.
If you've got a cracking in there. Because all-purpose glue is the best glue for mats and layers, especially when you're using paper onto a cardstock like multi-purpose, because it doesn't warp. You might have seen us do glue schools where we've done this before, where we've tested it against because each glue has got its own properties and does its own thing. I use a tacky glue on intricate dies, I use it onto coated cardstock, like glitter, like mirror card. But for matting and layering, it's always this one I go to. However, it does sound to me, if you can hear a cracking and it's, and although to be fair, when you're saying that it's peeling off,
it could be because it's cracking that it's separating the layers.
Yes, so yeah, and I would just say, because there is two types of glue that look actually quite similar in the Kalal range, which is this one, and then the other one, which is the polystyrene one.
Polystyrene.
And if you've got that one, that'll be wrong, so it won't be working. However, it sounds to me like there's too much glue. If you can hear a cracking sound, I think you've got too much glue in there, because that shouldn't be happening. I always recommend, and I know it sounds really daft for me to say it, but I always recommend our cardstock. I've worked with lots of cardstock over the years, you have, Craig, and I know that our multi-purpose cardstock, our Craft, our black matte cardstock, Century Pearl, is a fantastic cardstock with great GSM. If you start to use different cardstocks, it can affect what glue you need to use. So just bear that in mind. But I hope that's answered your question.
That's great. Any other questions? Do let us know. Susie will feed them through to us. I think, though, as there's no questions about the craft along as such, everyone is up to date, ready to go for the next section. So, Debbie, if you're ready.
Yes, I am ready.
Let's
so
go for it.
I have chosen some of that gorgeous luxury, can you see that lovely shine, pearlescent cardstock that comes with the vintage butterfly. I've gone with green. I'm actually going to cut through 2 sheets at a time.
Okay.
We are cutting 12, so we've got a bit of cutting again. 12 pieces. Now, again, bearing in mind what you're, and we know that these measure at 5 inches by 2.5. So in terms of a matting and layering, it depends on the framing that you want in. Craig and me work very similar. We do 1/4 inch.
We do, don't
so
we?
in terms of the 5, take 1/4 inch off, 4 3/4. In terms of your 2.5, 2 1/4. So I'm going to go with the 1/4 inch. If you want to do half, you would go to 4.5 by 2. You get a bigger white frame. It's entirely up to you. Again, it's a personal choice. But I like the smaller frame. I think it draws your eye. But there's nothing to stop you from using smaller ones. So 12 pieces of this in the solid colour first. And that, for me, is going to be measured at 4 3/4 by 2 1/4. So again, I'm going to use the longevity of my cardstock. I'm going to go for the 2 1/4. And I've got my 2 pieces of cardstock. And I'm repeating exactly the same. Going just under that line, holding the guard down so nothing's moving, and then I'm going to go in with the 4 3/4. And for this, I've cut my 2 pieces in one go there, because I'm wanting 12, I want to speed it up. The guillotine's super sharp. We all know that these are blades. They're not, you know, it's not a paper trimmer. This is a guillotine.
It's got a sword, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Yeah, absolutely. Sourced by Leanne, who is a stickler for detail and wants to bring the best to the market. And that's, for me, not only is it a workable scoreboard, it's a brilliant guillotine, and it can cut through multiple layers. And this is just 2. I could probably get away with 3, to be fair, Craig.
You probably could
3
actually,
sheets.
couldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
You probably could.
So I'm just going to play around and to try and get the most out of there. And again, I'm just going up to that line, holding that down, and I'm going to cut my 12 pieces that measure in, at the measurements I gave you, 4 3/4 by 2 1/4.
And I suppose, Debbie, if you don't want to go straight, or I'm going to start that again. If you're trying to maximise your cardstock and you don't want to go straight in, you could always just go for your A4 or your 8 by whatever it was, letterpress size, size for your printer. And just work it out that way. Do a little play, cut, get the best out of that paper, and then just transfer that onto your cardstock.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, and I'll work out how many I've got, and then I'll know how many more I need to cut. Because I do a little bit of twisting and turning and making sure I get the most out of my card. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pieces out of 2 cards.
It's like I'm a celeb when they're throwing out the stars out there.
So my
Unless
third
you're Chris
piece,
Moyles.
I haven't needed, and I've still got some left over. So that was out of 2 sheets of A4 cardstock from there. In terms of your paper, again, choose your design that you want. I've gone with a couple of sheets here, and I will. I'm gonna go in and cut some of these up. Again, we're gonna need 12 of these, Craig. So let me just drop that down for a second. We know that these now measure at 4 3/4 by 2 1/4. Again, I'm working on 1/4 of an inch, so I'm going to go down to 4 1/2 by 2. It's that simple, and we're going to measure 12 of those as well. I think I've got about 3 sheets here, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to show you that power of the guillotine. Clean, and there's 3 sheets. I thought before then. Straight through, no fraying. It's just wonderful. If you don't feel comfortable doing this, then please work what works for you.
Oh, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Absolutely.
The size that you're cutting them at, and I was away to say, I don't know about you, Debbie. I do know you, Debbie, because we're the same. We've got scraps that are either that size or a bit bigger.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So this is, even if it was a total mix match, different pattern papers, you're going for that quirky effect, bring in your scraps, cut them to the size you're doing, Debbie, and you're going to have a lovely project.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And always, when you think about as well with your pattern, do you know, because sometimes I talk about chopping and changing, think about your script on your pattern. This has got script running through this way. So in terms of laying it, the tabs, the flaps, whatever you want to call them, they lay landscape. Just bear that in mind, because otherwise then you could end up with a sideways, but I mean, it won't really matter, but to be fair, it's just about thinking about things like that when you're using this. So I am going to keep it in that way. And again, I'm just going to cut that down to 2 inches and the 4 1/2.
I'm thinking even, who was it that said here a moment ago that said, I'll find it just shortly, but we're saying that we're going to be making this one, but in a Christmas style, using Christmas papers.
That's a great idea.
Really good idea. I'll have a look at that just in a moment while Debbie's going over.
Keep all those bits. We're going to be possibly using some of those in a second, but then I should have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, that you're then going to mat and layer on top of each other. So while you, I mean, again, Craig, you can be reading some comments. I'm just going to choose. I might have a little bit, do you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to match some patterned with some of the other, because of course this is double-sided, and I think it just adds a little bit of texture to your card as well. So I'm going to do a bit of mixing and matching. I am going to use wet glue again, Craig, just because again, when it comes to matting and layering, I just want to be able to get it into place. So if I've gone a bit wonky, I can place it, position it, and then let it dry. And that's all I want you to do. So again, once you've cut those pieces, all of the plain will be at your whatever chosen size frame you're doing. I've gone with a 1/4 inch, so it's 4 3/4 by 2 1/4. And all of your patterned will be 4 1/2 by 2, and 12 of those, okay? And there you go.
And then I suppose, you know, if you're going to do this again, or you're going to do this for the first time at a later date, says Debbie, you can go around with your distressing tool, your edge crimpler, go around with your stay sticky glue and your gilding flakes. That's it. You can keep it as simple as you want in the way that you can construct it, or you can go to town with all your additional Crafter's Companion and any other branded products that you've got as well. Use it all within the stash.
And I could have done, Craig, I was just thinking time-wise.
That's the thing, isn't it?
If I was, I would go that extra little detail of that. It softens the edges and doesn't, so at the minute it kind of blends into each other, which works nice. But if you want to make it pop, just distress around those edges, tickle the edges, and you'll be absolutely fine.
And it's a good thing with the craft along is we come here for the full show and give you that full 2-hour craft along experience, and you're ending up with a finished project. And then, as I said a moment ago, you can go back and do it again and change it and add things, whatever you like. It was actually Stephen that said he's going to do it, but he's going to make a Christmas card.
I can't wait to see it, Stephen. And Stephen, tag me in it.
Absolutely. Any that are making it, tag Debbie for sure, so she can see, and so can the Crafters Companion Social. Pamela on Facebook is saying, Debbie, you have made that look so easy. Hasn't she just?
Oh, bless you.
So simple. Even Johnny and George in the gallery, like me, were saying at first, we're like, gosh, I wonder how long. Probably it would potentially take an hour and a half, but no, really, really simple. Moni64 is saying, hello everyone from Arizona. Judy is saying, hello from Arizona too, straight away. Sam McDonald saying, I'm on the craft along next Sunday.
Aww.
Oh, am I in next Sunday?
Who's in next Sunday then? What craft along is it?
I'm not on the craft. I think I'm here the next Sunday again. I think I'm in for a good couple of weekends coming up. We've got Kirsty D on YouTube is saying, good afternoon, everyone. I've just got home from work. I've saved the show to watch in full later on. I love this style of card. I made one for my brother. He said it was amazing. That's what I think is what. Now, of course, Debbie, this is going to go for any sex, of course, but this would be a good one for males.
Yes.
Decorate it in the male colours. You know, it's got that sort of. You probably won't see what I see. That brickwork effect. You know, when the brickwork just intertwines with each other.
Yeah, I
So
do.
you could
And I
do
also
that.
see an industrial shape in there because
Yes,
thinking about your
absolutely.
cogs and your wheels and your, you know, your
Exactly.
mechanisms and things like that. Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely, Craig, definitely.
Marion on Facebook saying, great project, Debbie, and Colleen is saying, morning from Florida. It is myself that's on that next Sunday as well, with Debbie Fisher. Debbie Fisher's got the craft along, and it is Sarah's signature birthday box.
Oh, lovely. That box is
Don't know if I was meant to tell you just yet, but I have done. That's going to be a week on Sunday.
We've got some amazing craft alongs lined up, haven't we?
27. Week on Sunday's not the 27th already, is it?
Oh, dear Lord, it is flying by.
Wow.
Oh, that's the day before Westlife. Oh, my days, I'm getting so excited. I'm going to see Westlife.
Are you?
Yeah, so I've took a week off. Now, you're probably going to think this is really bizarre, but I've took a week off. I've had to. I've got Westlife,
How many
Leona,
times have you
Sarah, and Bucks Fizz in 1 week. I just couldn't fit work in. I'm
You
just
just
going to
couldn't
say,
make your
I
mind
really
up as to
couldn't,
what
because I've got
one.
Westlife on the Monday. On the Thursday, we've got Leona. On the Friday, I've got Sarah. On the Saturday, I'm in Kent seeing the Bucks Fizz girls at a VIP weekend event, so I'm really excited. It's going to be a busy week. And then the following Tuesday, although I didn't push it with my holidays, I thought, no, don't be cheeky, just put a day off, just put a day in. I've got Blue. So I'm literally, it's all
Whoa.
rescheduled gigs. Everything's all rescheduled.
All at once.
Apart from the Sarah, but the Leone's always been in place. We've had these tickets about a year.
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So it's going to be crack. Can't wait.
Gonna be busy.
Blue as well. Yeah, can't wait. I'm so excited, and I'm right near up front with my sister.
Oh, are you?
Oh, he'll be flinging things at the stage, whipping the old.
So we're
get them
gonna-
all off there and fling them at him.
So we're going to have to watch the next morning, Good Morning Britain, Crafter's Companion TV demonstrator arrested for jumping on stage with Blue. What do you see?
I love those boys. The Westlife ones, I mean, I am close as well to the stage. I mean, who knows? I just can't wait. Just can't wait. Right, so shall we do a bit of sticking?
Let's do it.
Got all those panels. So what you're going to do, flatten your card, and you're going to just simply mat and layer to your heart's content, and do it in each segment first.
Okay.
So again, use a bit of wet glue if you want to use a bit of wet glue, tape pen, finger lift tape. Maybe you want to add an extra bit of dimension. You could lift it with foam pads or 3D collal glue. But I like to keep them flat. And especially if you're thinking about, in terms of transportation, in terms of delivery, if you're sending this through the post, think about that, because obviously we all know the cost of postage these days is eye-watering, shall we say. So bear that in mind when you're making your project. If you keep this fairly flat, you'll get away with that postage. The lesser the dimension, the lesser the postage. Yeah. So again, that's all one side done, and we're just going to repeat that, Craig. So I'm just going to turn it now, and we're going to just carry on
Work the
building
way
this
around.
up.
Isn't that fab?
Honestly, so easy to do. And it's just, like I said, it's a nice fun fold
It
card.
is.
There's a really nice factor to this. It's just got that lovely dimension. And of course, we've got the best to come, because we're going to be sticking butterflies all over
That's
it.
the thing, isn't it, with the butterflies? But then this is where, you know, as me and Debbie have talked about, you know, you can distress it, you can ink things, you can add things. But then you think, okay, Debbie's going to be using the timeless butterflies, but what about some of your dragonflies from Dancing Dragonflies?
yeah.
Or, you know, maybe bringing it, when we're done the farmyard collection or something like that, theming it. You can absolutely be doing that. Yeah, the guys will love it because we love anything moving in Connecticut and that. Little kiddies will love it because they'll be like, how does that work? Women just love all cards because you appreciate everything and the time that goes into it. So everyone, it's a winner for everyone, I think anyway.
I'm thinking of making one of these for my grandson. I can't believe I'm saying this. It'll be 2 in a few weeks. Just before Christmas, and
That's
I am going to do him
scary,
a little Tubbies one, little Teletubbies. He calls it
Oh,
Tubbies.
they're back, aren't they?
Oh, he's obsessed. Never gone away, Craig. Never gone away.
No?
No, they've never gone away, George. Teletubbies have never gone anywhere. Yeah, the Tubbies, but he's obsessed. Tubbies, Nan, Tubbies. That's what he'll say to me. And he goes and sits himself up on the sofa. Legs are stretched, little socks on, sat there watching, and then he dances to theme tune. We always, so Tinky Winky, we do that bit, Tinky Winky, Dipsy La La Po, we always sing that a little bit. And then he loves to watch the Teletubby TV bit.
What's
he loves that bit, where they do the video inside the tubbies. That's why they're called Teletubbies, telly in the belly. They've got a telly in the belly. Yeah, so he loves that bit as well, absolutely. So
Netflix it's on now, isn't it?
Isn't it?
The new one, new version.
Oh, I didn't know.
Don't know. John's in the studio. I don't know why I've just looked at John as if for him to say.
Why would John know about the Tubbies?
Is it John? Is it John? I don't know, but yeah, apparently it's back. Or still here, as Debbie says.
Now, all we've got now is, and then you've got choices now, Craig. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do and what we're away to do.
Okay.
But I just want to show you now, when you've got those in. Reason I use wet glue as well, Craig, as you all know, time to get it into place. But can you see there's some blank bits?
Yeah.
So when I lift that up, now this is, again, personal choice. You can leave those. I think it adds a little bit of a dimension. It adds a little bit of interest as well. Or, and what we're going to do is, we're going to cut. Can you see these little panels?
Oh, yeah.
There's 12 of them. So, and they are so, when you think about in terms of measurements, again, super easy, because your pattern, if you think about that square, it's 2.5 square. So sorry, I'll lift that up there. Oh, sorry, George. 2.5 by 2.5. That's how you look at it. So in terms of you matching pattern, you're going to cut yourself 12 pieces of the cardstock, and that's when your scrap bits will come in handy, or your sheet that you've got left. You're going to cut yourself 12 pieces that measure 2.25 by 2.25 square, and your pattern paper is 2 inches by 2 inches. And then you just do the matting and layering. And because I do like, I'm not going to lie, I like different variations. The Teletubby ones that I'm going to do is going to be blank. And I want you to think about when you're sending this as well, where you're going to write. So maybe on a couple of your panels, you're going to have maybe in the centre here for you to write, or the top and the bottom. Maybe use plain cardstock, just on one panel. Because it looks beautifully fully decorated, but where on earth are you going to write your message to the person that you're sending it to?
Yeah.
That's how I would look at it. So I'd be perhaps putting out, or taking a couple of those sheets of those pattern papers and perhaps putting some white cardstock in there for you to write onto your verse, or stamping your verse onto there. So we're going to bring in our guillotine again. We are going to cut our 12 pieces that are going to measure 2.25 inches. And we're just going to do those 12. So, and then I promise you, Craig, it will be all over and done with in terms of your mats and your layers, and we will move on to the fun bit, which I can't wait for, which is our butterflies. So I've got 3 out of that, and I'm just going to continue to carry on with your third sheet at 2.25 by 2.25, and then the pattern will be 2 by 2, and they are the 12 pieces that will fit into those little segments. If you are not keeping them white, this is it's your card, it's your craftalog. If you want to keep them white, it didn't look odd, did it, Craig? I thought it looked quite nice.
Well, you know what I'm like with white space anyway.
I know,
like
yeah.
white space.
Yeah.
I think it frames it as well. But I know what you mean by it just finishes it off by covering the panels.
Exactly. So that's all we're going to do. We're going to continue till we've got all of those pieces. And I don't know if you noticed, but I'm doing the twisting and turning again. Bit of longevity out of there. I've already got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3 more, and I'm done. And again, if you think about, and like I said, some of those scraps, could we get some out of there, Craig? Shall we have a little look?
Will you?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, look at that.
Absolutely. So some of those scraps we've already got at 2.25 by 2.25. So I've even got some more spare. It's all about making your cardstock go that little bit further, and I'm just going to double check. Yeah, perfect. So I've got my 12 pieces. I'm going to go in, and again, I'll try and be a bit frugal.
Maximising your
Going
paper,
in
isn't
there
it?
and 2 by 2. And that's all it is. That's your mats and layers completed. And again, 12 of those. And it's that easy.
Really is that easy.
Yeah.
And what's been lovely as well is seeing the way Debbie's using the guillotine, whereas, you know, we do parts of shows where we'll maybe focus on the guillotine, but it's been a while since we've done a dedicated section with a guillotine, and many will say, certainly with me, because I love my mats and layers, Craig, how do you do yours? I always say the guillotine. It's exactly the same way as Debbie's doing them. So if you're ever unsure to get it accurately, the best way to use the guillotine, you've seen Debbie throughout this craft along so far using them. Make sure it's just to that right-hand side of the line. It's completely straight, 1/4 of an inch, or you can do 1/2 an inch, whatever you want, but maximising the guillotine. And in actual fact, on our website, we do have a smaller guillotine.
We do,
where
yeah.
I think is on, when I say it's on an offer, you're actually getting 25 sheets of Centura Pearl for free. So if you're looking to try the guillotine, but you don't want a large one, you want the smaller one, exactly the same, just smaller, of course, and you're getting free cardstock with it, Debbie.
Do you?
Yeah.
With a guillotine?
Yeah, 25 sheets
Ooh.
of Centura Pearl.
Hey, that's good.
Good, isn't it?
That is good, yeah. Absolutely. So, Craig, this is all we're doing. We're just matting and layering, and then they are going to stick in to those panels. So I'm going to ask you to just do that and then get all that completed, and it should only take you a couple of minutes.
Perfect.
Really, to be fair. Once you've chopped all those out, I'm going to use some of the striking paper on the other side, so it gives a little bit of interest. So the lovely leaves on there, I think
Yeah.
it just adds that little bit of interest to your card.
Do you know what's been lovely for me, Debbie? Because this is the first time I've been on the presenter side for a craft along. Now, when I'm at home, if I have the craft alongs on for whoever's doing them, I'm always prepping. I'm always doing something. This is the first time I've properly, okay, I'm not doing the craft along with you, but I'm solely focused on watching you, the step by step, the way the project comes together. And for me, going into future craft alongs, although I've already done my next one, it's good to see it from a proper visual, fully concentrated way, for me to then think about the way that I do future craft alongs. I've just loved doing it, or
Oh,
watching
bless
it
you.
anyway.
The other thing, I mean, this is why I love and adore the craft alongs. Coming from, and I'm not a teacher,
No.
but I've taught crafts for a long time, for a fair few years now. So in terms of big classes, I've done retreat. Well, I did a weekend retreat that I absolutely adored, but you have to think of all the different stages and all
That's
that,
it,
and
yeah.
it's sometimes nice. And even when I'm looking, and I'm just looking at that now thinking, that's not 2 by 2, Debbie, you've gone a little bit over. Oh, good job I saw that then. You just look at it from that perspective on how you can do all that breakdown of things, and sometimes it's, and I need it still myself, when I'm looking at things, when I'm looking at new ideas and new concepts, that's exactly what I do as well. And it's just taking that step by step,
Absolutely.
breaking it down. And like you said, it's easier. It's just, it flows easy, doesn't it? And
It does.
It does mean it's more achievable, because you look at something. If I were to look at that project that I just showed you at the beginning, there might have been some actually that thought, I can't do that, so there's no way I'm going to do it. I'm just going to avoid doing the craft along. But when you break it down, you can see just how easy it was to do. So easy.
It really was.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
really was. The love for it already, following along with what you're doing and your instructions, everyone's loving it.
So again, all I'm going to do is finish those off. I don't know how I managed to get, I think I must have had the 2 1/4 in my head. For a couple of those pieces,
Okay.
I'm thinking, they're not 2 by 2. But yeah, so again, all of this, you know, you can decorate,
You can,
not
can't you?
decorate. It's a choice. I'm choosing to cover those white spaces up, but I do like that. I've just seen it now. I've seen it and keep looking at it at the side of my eye. Actually looks quite nice with the white space.
It's like it catches, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it's quite eye-catching. But again, all we're going to do now is we're going to just put those pieces in. So again, that's all you need to do, Craig. So I don't know if you want to read, have there any more comments? How are people enjoying this? Is this, are they, shall we see what Rhonda's doing?
Yeah, we're going to go and just
I was just
jump
going to say, we've not seen
across.
Rhonda for a while.
She's busy beavering away. We're going to jump into Rhonda just shortly and see how she's doing. But let's have a few read of the comments. So, yeah, so Sam was saying, yeah, it's Sarah's signature box next week with Debbie and myself. We've then got Coletta saying, this is my favourite guillotine. I've tried several. Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah, me too.
Other good brands out there, but I always come back to ours because it's got that sword. We've got Marion saying, great project, Debbie. We've got Charlotte saying, I'm watching with you now, but we'll be making it with my daughter when my crafty goodies arrive. Love that one. Oh, breaking news to me, Christine Mahoney. Craig, I'm on with you next Tuesday for Say It With Flowers Craft Along. Excellent. It's been a long time since I've had someone crafting along with me in a craft along. Eleanor saying this is a really cool card. Mary Pat said, I like this card. think I might use dancing dragonflies.
Yes.
That design.
Yeah.
Good idea. And Trinkle's Garden is saying, I am crafting along and loving it.
Oh,
good.
Thank you.
Glad to hear. And Susan, yes, we are just a way to jump into Rhonda just shortly. Actually, we'll do it now.
Yeah, because I've only got my last panel. That's all I've got.
If you're
it's
okay,
just the
Debbie?
last panel. I'm absolutely fine to check in with Rhonda.
Let's do that then. Let's see. She's busy beavering away. You can't see, but I can see on our big screen to the side. Her crafting away. She's doing really, really well. She's waving away back. How are you getting on, Rhonda?
I'm doing really well.
You're doing really well? Are you giving us a tease as to how you've been decorating it?
Oh, that looks like... Is that Country Lane or is that Dancing Dragonflies?
Yeah.
It's Country Lane.
Yes.
Country Lane, yeah. I thought it was.
And I have all my pieces.
You got them all?
Oh,
yeah, but I just haven't put them together yet.
Not yet, no. And have you found, like everyone's saying as well, have you found it just so easy to just follow along with Debbie, the way that she's explained the step-by-step, and it initially at first looks like a complicated project, but coming together so easy?
I knew it was going to be pretty easy.
Yay!
Okay.
Because I've done something similar.
Right.
And it looks complicated, but it's really not.
No. Yeah, but see, I had seen something similar, but never actually attempted it before or known how. So seeing Debbie, seeing how you're coming along, and everyone in the comments, it's lovely to see. I'll let you carry on doing your mats and layers. We'll pop back again just shortly, Rhonda, and see how you're getting on with your additional embellishments. Talking of embellishments, let's have a look at what we've got here. Now, we've got a lovely embellishment bundle where you may have seen Debbie use these earlier on in Wake Up Call. This is the Vintage Butterflies collection. This is an embellishment collection. Butterfly charms, ribbon, and more. £12, $16, or platinum price $9.60 or $12.80. You may be forgiven for thinking, well, under my £10, I'm going to get just these, which would be worth it, but you're going to be getting your butterfly charms as well. Not just the 4, you're going to get the full pack of them. I think is it something like 8 or 10, something like along those lines. You're going to get them as well. Got a little metal hoop on them. Add them to jewellery if you want. You're going to be getting, look at that full on, and not just one little bit of lace. You're going to get full reel of the butterfly lace. Ink it with any of your inks, your tri-blends, wrap around your projects if you want to. But then you're going to be getting your ribbon as well. So you're going to be getting your seam binding ribbon, 3 reels of these ones here. All of these colours just match and complement perfectly. If you are getting this little collection as a standalone, it will work well with lots of your collections. You might want to get it as a little top-up from your original Vintage Butterfly collection. Or, if you are going to go for the timeless butterflies, these are still going to match and complement just perfectly. All of that, £12, $16. You have got that good saving of £10.96 or $14.80, but it does mean platinum comes down to just under £10, £9.60, $12.80. These, everything else, shop the day, crafterscompanion.co.uk.com.eu. If you're not in Club Inspire, certainly worthwhile joining for free while you are there. But I think a couple of comments, but no questions as such at the moment, Debbie. So
perfect.
If you're okay, we'll just come back to you.
Yep, absolutely. So by now, you should have something looking like this, if you've been crafting along with us. So that is all of the card base done. Like I said, it will fold flats as well, so it folds nice and flat. But you have that lovely dimension and concept. Should have got that nailed down, or perhaps you're near in there now. So that is all of the card base done. We're going to move on to my favourite bit, the timeless butterflies.
Yay.
And we are going to use the sheets. So if you caught the morning show, I actually finished the project. Just popped it there. Although I didn't actually put my gems on. But there we go. We used those. Oh, just one dropped off then. I think I might not have glued that one on.
So
Typical.
beautiful.
Just one away. Look at that now. A little bit of gap there. But again, that was one of this morning ones. Just using the dies on their own with that lovely sparkle one. And Craig, you had the card that actually won the card of the show. Using these. This is what we're going to be using. And again, it can be something that is a focal part of your card, or it can actually be the little embellishment that you're going to add.
Absolutely.
Or it could be in your own decor pieces, as we saw with that beauty that Bianca did for us.
Isn't
I mean,
it
that is
gorgeous?
just stunning.
How much
Absolutely
would you
stunning.
pay for that in a home decor
Oh,
store?
well, I know how much I'd pay for it. And do you know something, to be fair, I probably would have gone for that, although not anymore. Because we've got the fabulous die set
Do it
and
yourself.
the papers. And let's just remember, 24 sheets in there, 31 butterflies on each sheet. If you're just doing what my Auntie Jean, God bless us all, used to do, just stick them on as little embellishments. Oh my goodness me, this is going to last you forever. If you're going to use it more, don't forget, once those 24 sheets have gone, you've got that downloadable sheet that you just go to our website, download, it's on your computer, and you print to your heart's content, and it's been sized to work with the dies. You're not having to resize or anything, although Craig did share that tip earlier, but you can actually do that if you want to. But in terms of how they work, every single one of those dies, now you do get your little sheet, and I call it the little, it's like a acetate template, isn't it? Where all your dies lays to enable you, because yours won't come like this with the little markings that are on, because I've put mine down, because I know what I'm like with sheets like this, and I'm forever losing things. And as John will be testament to say, he's on my left-hand side at the minute, he knows what I'm like, I lose everything. Literally everything that comes into this building, from sentiments to anything. So for me personally, look at him, it's going to come out and say, because I am shockingly bad. I am shockingly bad for losing things. And they all know that. I lose sentiments, I lose dies, I lose papers. It's one of those things. Thank you very much.
Excuse me.
Nipped out for a jink.
He's better looking
Nipped out for a
than me.
jink. Nipped out for a little swig of water. Just so we get that bit clear. Yeah, John, we're just going to take your place then, Craig. We're going to nick your place, yeah? So what we're going to do is we're going to take the sheet and we're going to use all of those numbers. Now, don't worry, if you don't want to put those on, you've got that sheet to be able to work. And you've also got on the back of each and every individual die the number that corresponds the number that's printed onto the sheet for you. Craig, I can't remember if the download sheets has the number on. I think it does, doesn't it?
It does.
Yes,
yeah.
it does. Yeah, I thought it did. I was trying to remember because I've only ever printed it once just to see if it worked. And I couldn't remember.
It's exactly the same.
Perfect.
Exactly the same as what you're seeing there.
So what we're going to do now is work out where is number 23 on my sheet. Now, if I just have a little piece, in fact, do you know what? I'm going to grab more because I'm going to try and cut as many as I possibly can, because this is the thing about this sheet. You can take 1 or 2 butterflies and then go back to it, or you can cut as many as you want out within reason. I find that a couple of the dies are just that touch. Just be careful.
Yeah.
You need to make sure it's taped down really well. This is not when you're going to use your magnetic sheet and then risk it. You can't do that. You need to match them over. And 23 is there, Debbie. You had it first time round. You're going to line it up. There's a little notch on each one of the dies that lines up over the number. And that is as easy as it is to line those up. You do need low tack tape. And I'm going to bring in our low tack tape. And again, if you are lining a few, so I've got number 17 here and number 24. So let's go on and do number 17.
Okay.
And I've got number 24, so that's one of my smaller ones. Is it that one? No, that's number 20. 25, one of you. In fact, you know what? Shall we try and get a load on, Craig? Shall we try and cram loads on?
You go for it.
Let's get as much as we can. Now, bearing in mind, you've got a lot of tabs to be decorating. So if you're going to go mad like I've done with my card, you'll need a lot of butterflies. So you're going to try and possibly get 31, maybe more, maybe do 2 sheets, we'll see how we go. But that's as easy as it is. So I'm just going to line some of those up, Craig, because I'm trying to line, trying to talk, and trying to stick at the same time. Ain't working. So I'm going to hand over to you with maybe comments and things like that. But we can still keep and watch what I'm doing if you want to.
And if you need to come back, just shout, say, Craig, I'm ready, come back to me.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no problem. I'm just going to line loads down. All right, Craig.
In actual fact, this was the card that Debbie done in Wake Up Call. So if you want to see how she made this one, as well as how she started off that metal ring, you can go back after the show, of course, and watch it back. Absolutely gorgeous and lovely way to use the vellum that you may already have in your stash or we have within that bundle. So what Debbie's using at the moment is from, of course, the Timeless Butterfly set. You've got your dies, you've of course got your papers, you have then got your little template, which I have to say, in future, I'm going to start doing what Debbie's doing. Notice she's not using it. Very handy just to write it on, permanent marker, numbers underneath the butterflies on the actual adhesive sheet that you get, of course, holding the dies, a lot easier as well. You've got that sheet to use somewhere else if you want. $19.99 or $22.95. Platinum price $15.99 or $18.36. You're getting your 100 bonus points. As far as that download that Debbie explained, what I would recommend is if you download it, and it's always going to be on our website, if you are able to save it onto your computer or your laptop, or I've even saved it onto my notes section of my phone so that I've always got the link there as well, that you know that you're always going to have it. God forbid something happened, the gremlins went into the system and it took out the download and we had to wait on the IT team getting it sorted. It's always there for you. But let's have a look. We've got, Susie was actually letting me know as well that I believe Rhonda is on the craft along with me next week. I've got two. Oh, she's nodded. Yeah, I can see her nodding from the screen at the side here. Excellent. I have to be honest though with you, Debbie.
Yep.
And that is, my eye may have been taken off the ball the last few days with properly going through my work emails because I've been focusing on these bags that we have in cartload.
You have
later on tonight.
With those, to be fair.
So I've still got work emails to catch up with. That'll tell me there. But yeah, we've got Christine and Rhonda joining me with the craft along next week. That's Tuesday.
Lovely.
Me and Leanne this side, myself that side. Say it with flowers. We've got Trinkled Garden is saying, I am crafting along and loving it. I think I did read your one out earlier. We've got, that's where it was, Trinkles again, saying, I am moving a little slow with all the cutting, but I am enjoying it and I love this card.
Oh, do you know, that's fine. That's absolutely fine.
Is,
you go at your own pace. And that was something I learned in class when I used to teach classes, especially when I moved to the Chesterfield branch, when we started taking classes there. Everybody goes at different paces. And honestly, I used to say to them, don't get ahead up if someone's... Because you get some people that would race ahead and they'd be finishing project in the blink of an eye. Mm-hmm. And then you get some ladies and gents that took their time. There's nothing wrong with that.
No,
That's
not.
the thing. You go at your own pace. We're not in a race. It's
Not
not
at
an
all.
Olympic sport. You go at your own pace. As long as you've learnt something today in terms of maybe a new fold, a new different idea, got some inspiration from it, and of course using the product that you may have already bought.
Correct.
You may not have. You may have missed these the first time round, so you may have missed them. We've got options for you there, but again, taking some inspiration, doesn't matter what speed you go at. I honestly, I really, and this sounds terrible when I say it, but I really don't care. You go at your own speed. I don't want anybody worrying about anything. I'm not marking you.
No.
I'm not, you know, we're not in an exam or anything like that. You go at your own pace and you enjoy this craft along and take from it what you want to take from it. I don't know why this tape just likes my fingernail because it doesn't want to go on the... There we go. But you can see I'm cramming quite a lot on, and I am going to do because I want quite a lot of butterflies.
Makes sense to.
Yeah, absolutely. While you've got that sheet, just you know, just carry on until you've got it. But it's really easy to line them up. And like I said, your notch is the bit that goes over. You give it a little wiggle to get it into shape and pop that down with your low tack tape. And it's that easy.
Beth on YouTube and also Susan on, Beth on Facebook, Susan on YouTube is saying, lovely flowers, Rhonda, very nice Rhonda, loving what you are making, following along with Debbie. Sophie, actually, you're one step ahead of me. I've already thought about doing this and I am going to do it because they're written out. And that is, Craig, could you share the written instructions for your craft along, say it with flowers, before the show.
Oh.
I find it easier to follow along if I have written instructions for the craft along.
Oh, I like that idea.
Well, as me and Debbie were talking about just before we went live, we were talking about how we do and prep our craft alongs with our step-by-steps and that. And what I said to Debbie, what I do is when I'm making my project, I'll do step-by-steps, I'll do a few steps, write it down in my phone, do the next steps, write it down. So I've actually got all the steps written in my phone.
Oh, have you already? Yeah, of course. Yeah,
So
love
what
it.
I'll do over the weekend, I'll wait till the weekend because obviously we want the focus for now and the next day or two to be on Debbie's Timeless Butterflies. I will pop the written step-by-steps on my social media so anyone can print it and have it there at the side come Tuesday and the actual craft along. We will do that. Really, really good question, Evelyn. We've got Evelyn saying, hi from Boston, love the craft along. I have a question.
Of course, ask.
Speaking about the download sheets,
Yep.
what type of paper would you use to print them on?
Ooh, that is a good question.
That is a good question.
Do you know, I would imagine this would depend on your printer. Because I know my printer can't take, I haven't got one of them fancy ones. I've just got a very, what I call a bog standard
Yep.
one. And the most weight that I can get in there is probably like a Nina cardstock. Anything heavier, I can't get in. Now,
Got
a Nina
ya.
cardstock, if I remember rightly, is it
160 or 180?
I know, I can't remember off the top of my head. That's
Yeah.
do you know? But that's the most I can get in mine.
And
Photo, it depends on I suppose it depends on the finish.
Yeah.
Because there's photo paper out there that's like of a 3G,
It is.
a lighter GSM, and it can give you a real glossy look, a glossy finish. But it will depend on your printer. So I always use our products, and I don't just use them because I work for the company. I use them because I've been using them for years. Before I started working for the company, I find them the better ones out there. And again, everyone has a different purpose and things like that. So yeah, I would look at your printer.
100% agree with you, Debbie.
Yeah.
And I would say whether your printer takes heavyweight card or not, I would do it on Nina cardstock. It's all about the way that the ink settles.
Yeah.
Whether it's alcohol ink or printer ink, it's not soaking in. It's going to stay nice, it's flat, it's soft, it's smooth, hence why it's called Nina cardstock. If like my printer, which is an inexpensive one, but the paper or the card can go from the back and through, it takes multi-purpose cardstock, no problem whatsoever. But for a basis for everyone, which pretty much most printers, I would say your Nina cardstock, that's going to be the perfect one to print and die cut with.
Absolutely. Just check your like I said, I'll check. I know my printer. I know it's not a nose thing, fancy one. There's some gorgeous printers out there, isn't there, that you can do lots of fancy prints to. But
cheapest ones can do just as good a job.
Yeah, but so the lighter weight ones, I'll try it on the glossy, the photo paper because that looks
would be
really
nice as well.
Yeah, really nice. I try and use like a super smooth one because I get a nicer finish. And this would absolutely look lovely on one of those finishes, but be careful not to put something too heavy in if your printer doesn't take it.
Yeah.
So I once tried. I thought, I'll be able to get multi-purpose through it, it'll be fine. I really wrecked my printer, I'm not going to lie. So just take care when you are printing off. But probably if you want to, as well, especially with your butterflies, if you want a little bit of movement, the lighter the GSM will give you that movement. It'll give you that fluidity in terms of shaping. So this one that we've got this printed onto on this sheet is actually, is it 160 GSM, Craig? Does it tell us on the sheet?
I'm sure it's about 160.
180. It's not a heavyweight cardstock.
No, it's
but
not.
It means you've got butterflies that you can shape the wings and bend really easily. With cardstock, you don't get that same bendability. Is that a word?
I've got a funny feeling.
Yep.
I've got a funny feeling we've printed it on the same way we would print onto Nina.
Yes.
Basically, it's Nina that we've printed these ones onto.
Yeah.
Hence why I suggested Nina as well. So I'm sure it is. So yeah, I would say about a 160.
Yep. And can you see as well, the dies, when they're lined up, cut out really beautiful butterflies. And what I love about this set, and I'm just taking my time because I've used our low-tack tape. Our low-tack tape is absolutely fine, but when you pop it through your Gemini, it literally becomes like a high-tack tape. So just take your time. It's not ruined any of my designs. I am pulling it towards me. A trick that our Leanne taught me, because I'm often pulling away. So I pull towards me. And if I pull towards me, it doesn't ruin your design. It doesn't take away from the print at all. So again, not this way, do it towards you, like so. And again, all I'm going to do is take those out. And you can see all of these butterflies, the timeless factor there is they're all beautifully...
They are, aren't they?
They're just, yeah, there's just something about this set that... I know you were the same because you had these down at Hobby Maker, didn't you? But I fell in love with this collection instantly. I had no problem making my demos for these, Craig.
No, not at all.
No problem whatsoever.
Not at all.
I just got carried away to my heart's content using these. But again, just they're absolutely fabulous. Now, what I will suggest for this is because of those panels that you've got 12 panels to cover. So obviously we're going to put a couple of sentiments on. We've got time to cut. Yeah, we've got plenty of time.
Yeah, 20 minutes.
But I would probably say cut out 2 sheets. Get yourself all your butterflies cut out. Now this is the only time that I actually got a few more extra because you saw this morning when I did some cutting out, I got some extras. So I will use some of those. But for the time being, I've got a fair few on there and I've still got some left actually, so I could run those through. I could go back in with those dies. I purposely didn't put all of the dies in because some of them, especially here, I don't want to take away from anything, but just be careful, especially with the overlap. The Gemini is a powerful machine and it can, I'm not saying all the time, but it can move things. So this one was too close for me personally. I don't want to run the risk of my dies running under each other. I would rather run it through separately on a separate occasion and not worry about any of that because I have in the past ruined dies, so you do have to be careful. So personally, a little bit of advice I'm going to give you is perhaps run through twice, take out the majority and then go back in with those. In fact, you know what, Craig, while we've got that bit of time, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Good thing is as well, Debbie, and I'm taking nothing away to die cut toppers or anything like that. I love them, what we do, hunky-dory. I know our wisteria lane, we've got decoupage that's already die cut for you. But something like this, you're not worried about them falling. They're all contained on that one sheet, whether you're using 10, whether you're using 20, and they're all there left over that you can go back to time and time again. Just quickly as well, Alison Marr on YouTube is saying, loving my first craft along.
Oh,
what a craft along to be a part of.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
If you can, Alison, I know Debbie's been saying this throughout the show for everyone. It'd always be nice to see what you've made and how you've decorated it. Please let us know and share your makes on Debbie's social media or in our AMA Crafters Companion Facebook page. Tag Debbie and Crafters Companion so we can see what you've done on your first craft along. Yeah, that'd be lovely because it's lovely when we get people that join the craft along for the first time. And I hope people can understand why we do these shows, because we do the launch, we get all excited, we cram as many demos as we can into a launch show. We might have, they might appear on like Second Chance Sunday, future, but it's nice to come back. And this is what Sarah wanted. This was Sarah's vision all along with these shows, was to do that real time. She's always promised, and I don't think we failed in any of them, to be fair, where we show you how to use the product and we give you a real-time craft along project that come from the pits of our minds. They do. We just sit there and think, oh, what can we do with this? Sometimes I have an head scratching moment. I don't know about yourself, Craig. Sometimes I've got a light bulb moment. Sometimes some collections make it, oh dear, so many ideas, I just don't know what to pinpoint and do. Because I get so excited that we offer this. It's not something that everybody does. Do you know what I think it is as well, Debbie? And it epitomises Crafters Companion and Sarah, what she wants. We're here to, entice you, give you creative ideas that you're going to purchase the products. But as Sarah says, sometimes the shows aren't all about sales. Sometimes you maybe don't fancy what we've got. Maybe it's not your style. Maybe you've got it. Craft along, for instance. Yes, we've got the collection here for you to buy, but the show is actually about you who's already got the product to craft along. So it's not actually to do with sales. It's not about bringing the money. It's, as you said, it's about education. You getting what you've already purchased and just getting this 2 hours with Debbie, with Jan, with me, Michelle, any of them, Corinne, to craft along and get the best out of the project. And that's what I just love about the company. And one of the demo of the year was Jan's craft along project. It was, wasn't it? Yeah, with the dancing dragonflies, I think, was it? Dancing dragonflies? Yeah.
yeah, some beautiful projects that we try and create that you can create too at home and give you that inspiration, because we all get it. I am the same, and I know that people watching right now will say the same thing. I sometimes have that creative block. I cannot think on what I want to do. Jan used to say to me, Debbie, she always used to call me like, go on downstairs, go and put the kettle on, go and stand outside, have a bit of fresh air, then go back. And you know, it always worked. I always call her, she's always my calming influence, Janice. So if I'm ever having a tough time or a bad day, or she's like my best buddy.
Yeah,
she is.
yeah.
We met through crafters.
You met through crafters.
And we don't see each other as much as we would love. We just don't anymore, just because of our schedules. And you know, Jan only works part-time. She works part-time for a reason, because she's got 2 gorgeous grandkiddies. And she helps look after her grandkids for her daughter, so that her daughter can still work. So it's, you know, I always say Jan is the person that I would turn to when I just want to, and she always calms me down.
Yeah.
I could have had the worst day in the world, and Jan is one of those people that would soothe.
She is soothing, isn't she?
She soothes me. She is.
So
she's like me. She's the, you know, the zen to me. The zen to me way. When I'm like, woo, she's the one that'll say, breathe.
Yeah.
Just breathe.
But what's good with you saying that as well is you'll have it as well. We will do a demo of that, and so many of you at home, you say, oh my gosh, I love what you've done. I wish I could come up with ideas as quick as you. Trust me, we can take a day and a half, sometimes 2 days to come up with one demo. If we're just lost, where we've got that creative block, honestly, we have those times as well. It's just we fast forward the steps, don't we, Debbie?
Yeah, yeah. And that's, I know sometimes, and I know it gets frustrating for people, especially when we do things like we make and we have to rush things. It's not because we would love to spend this kind of time and do all those things. It's not always possible. And that's why I enjoy my Facebook Lives, because again, it's a bit of real-time crafting. And I do genuinely, some days, Greg, I don't know about yourself, but make it up as I go along.
Yeah.
Just think, what shall we use today? I've promised that I'm going to do an inky background one for people, because they've always been going on about me inky backgrounds. And you know how much I love an inky background. So I have promised I will be doing one of those in the near future. But you just keep your eyes peeled. We let you know.
That's the thing.
We let you know.
We absolutely do. And the good thing as well, and we both do it, is we ask what do you want to see at home as well, but then we just get to play. Other night, my Facebook Live, I used a product from 3 years ago.
Oh, but yeah, I love doing that.
Yeah,
yeah,
and that's the thing. It's just so that you know as well, there's only so much things that we can do once a product's sold out. Whereas if me and Debbie will go and do a Facebook Live, get that little bit of flexibility, and we can have a little bit of a play, because so many of you have got that product at home. So yeah, that's what a lot of people.
Well, I was planning. I don't know if it can work yet, because I want to talk to Sarah first. But we've got Wisteria on Monday. Both myself. Sarah's launching, but I've got wake up call. Sarah's got a bit of wake up call. We're both in a little share. I've got later on. So I'm going to see if it's possible. I'm going to ask permission first. If I can do a little bit of a Wisteria craft along on my Facebook. Not that I'm trying to whip you up to a frenzy or anything like that, but God Almighty, you are going to love this collection. Yeah. It is beautiful. And talking of beautiful, I've got all the beautiful flies. It's worth doing it. It's worth taking that time. It's worth doing it for 2 passes. It's worth literally all the time in the world, because you've got some really gorgeous butterflies. So what are we going to do? We're going to do a bit of decoration. However, just before we do, I've got a couple of sentiments and I want to cut them out. So I'm going to use some of that scrap pieces that I've had. So I've got, and this is from our, do you remember I love these. I talk about these all the time. I've got the With Love one. I've steered clear. I've put it to one side. I've not retired it, but I'm always using it. So the little mini expressions that we did, they sit on my craft desk. I use them all the time. They are probably one of the most worked dyes that I use. You use them too?
Yep.
I love them. I absolutely love them. They're the perfect thing. And they're going to fit perfectly onto here as well. Now, what did I do with my scrap pieces of white cardstock? Here they are. I'm going to bring these back in.
See, again, you're using what you initially would think is scrap from the beginning, still in the project.
Yeah, absolutely. That's part of those little panels that I pre-cut. In fact, you know what? I could get 2 out of that. Could I get 2? Ooh, I can
look at you.
Do you know, I think I can get that, can't I? Yep. So we're going to go in. I'm going to die cut these. And these will fit through your mini as well. This is what I love about them. I'm actually going to put them through my Gemini. and it's just, again, just because I've got my plates out.
Okay.
Although I have got my mini on the top of the machine. I think that got left over from the other day, but I'm just going to run those through. I'm actually going to use a scrap of the green as well, because I'm going to lift it a tad. You could just use the white cardstock. It's going to look lovely. In fact, you know what? That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put the green on. I put the green on my original one, but I'm not. I'm looking at the time as well, Craig. Because I keep thinking, oh dear Lord. Me, yeah, Johnny, 2 hours. Oh, I'm going to get that done in my time. Oh, yeah, be absolutely fine. We haven't decorated the card yet. So, we've got plenty of time, haven't we?
We do, of course we do.
I mean, I was just going to say, can we run over, but maybe not. But I wonder how's our little Rhonda doing? Is she doing okay? I'm dying to see.
Yeah, she's,
Honestly,
like she's
I
getting
can't
okay.
wait to see what she's done with it.
I'm intrigued as well.
Yeah, because if she's using the country lane, is she going down a country lane theme? It's exciting. And I can't wait to see people's versions of this as well, because I love all of this.
It's the scope of the amount of versions that you can
Yes.
create from the style that you've shown.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just lifting that off, and I'm going to just now, because I was looking for my release all and I can't find it anywhere. I know it's there somewhere. But I've got my lovely special friend, and I've got my happy birthday as well, because I have got this in mind for someone.
Oh, have you now?
Oh, yeah. I always do. I don't know if you've noticed. There might be, like, my mum's birthday card or one.
Yeah.
I do it all the time. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it with my Teletubbies, because we don't sell anything to do with Teletubbies.
No, that's true.
And there's a bit of a copyright issue there as well, so we're not going to do
Very
that. But do you know what, Craig? I am actually going to lift it with a bit of green.
Go for it.
I've got me spare bits of green, so I'm going to go in. I'll probably use my mini for a bit of speed now.
Yeah.
Not that we're going to speed craft, but we are. So I'm going to run that through my Gemini mini. Again, these fit through perfectly.
And what's lovely is, worst case scenario, I know so many have already got the junior or at least the midi, but absolutely worst case scenario, you could cut these butterflies with your mini. Just fussy cut around a length of the butterfly. I don't mean physically fussy cut around the butterflies, but just through a bit of a strip so that you've got it wide enough to fit in your mini plate. You're still going to be able to use them in the mini as well. So it is, again, kids, if they've got the mini, they're going to love that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So again, I'm just going to, now then, have I pulled me, do you know me, I think I've got carried away and pulled my sentiments. Oh, Debbie, what have you done? I've wrecked my sentiments. Oh, do you know what? We're going to go back to the original idea. Forget it. Oh, wait, put that away, forget it. We're going to just go straight on there. Let's take our card and let's pop on. And we're going to go on. Actually, to be fair, look it pops, doesn't it? So I'm just going to move that, and I am going to use tacky glue for this though. This really is quite a very intricate sentiment. Dotty tape pen would work, but I know people with dotty tape pens can be a bit like me, heavy-handed, and you can end up ripping it. So I'm going to go in with my fine tip applicator. So I always talk about different glues do different jobs, and that's the same with the tape pens. So I'm going to personally go in with this one, and we're going to stick that over. Oh, Xyron would work.
The Xyron would work as well.
So we have the Xyron still in. Has it now gone, the Xyron again?
I think we've still got a couple of small ones, but actually, to say, pick up on what you said, if you didn't already know, breaking news from well before Wake Up Call.
Breaking news?
Dotty tape pens are back in stock.
Oh, yes. We were here last Friday, Craig.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I've got this scrap bit of paper. I just need to get that off because it's driving me mad. We were here last Friday, me and Leanne, and Emma said to me, I've got some news, Debbie. And when she told me, I was like, oh. So we came on and we told everybody, even though they'd not been voted up. Everybody went into a frenzy. I did the same yesterday down at Hobbymaker. I was terrible because I thought everybody knew. I mentioned it, and Liam was straight on blower to Kelly. He was like, dotty tape pens, we've been inundated with requests. So we ended up putting them on, and they sold out literally in a fraction of the time. Yeah. We've been waiting so long for them, haven't we? It's lovely to get them back.
Yeah.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the decoration. This will be your choice whether you want to lay them flat, thinking about your postage, and where you're going to put them.
Okay.
So in terms of your decoration now, and I'm just going to because I love those green ones, so I'm going to go again. Let's go in, and it's about positioning and placing. Are you going to lay them flat, are you going to give them lift? And I'm going to lift mine. I am going to use a little bit of 3D Collal glue.
Okay.
Again, when you are using, and give them a little shape as well. You can shape them with your fingers, you can shape them with your bone folders, your poker tools, something that just gives it a little bit of a lift, because I want those wings to have a little bit of flight in them. So I've just literally taken those, and I'll go in, let's put one there, and we're going to decorate each panel, and you can put as many on or as little on as you want. And in terms of, if you remember, this panel is actually on the other side, so just bear that in mind. If you're wanting to match anything, that panel belongs to this side, not this. That one's there. Can you see it's underneath?
You can.
So just bear that in mind when you're doing this. But again, I'm shaping, I'm lifting, and we're just decorating. And that's all I want you to do with this. Cut out as many butterflies, as many or as little as you want. It's entirely up to you. And again, and I'll show you what I've done with mine, because I know I can see time is...
Flying
it
out,
ran
isn't
away
it?
with me.
5
It
minutes.
ran away, Craig. I knew it would. But honestly, it's just... I just love this collection. I love this fold. I love the collection. I want to twist and turn my butterflies as well, which is what I've done with the original card, which is literally being a joy to work on. But give them a little twist and turn. Put as many on or as little as you want. It's entirely up to you. This is your craft along, it's your project. How many do you want to put on there?
And I suppose this would be the one that if you were to put a select few on, of course it's going to be looking beautiful. But if you went to town on them, it's equally going to look absolutely stunning.
Honestly, Craig, the problem that I had was step away from the butterflies, Debbie. I had to keep telling myself, step away.
Stop with the butterflies.
Because I just got carried away. And that's why I ended up cutting, I think I cut about 3 sheets out on mine. Didn't use them all because I bagged quite a few up. Because like I said, Craig, when I do mine, I do like to cut more and have them so I've got them to hand. Again, I'm just going to play with that a little bit and put near the word. Because I've not got any on there, I need to put some on this side. So I'm just going to continue to do that. I don't know if we need to... Do we need to go and check in with Rhonda?
I think we do,
and see how
Rhonda's
she's doing.
I think we're going to check in, see how she's getting on. I think she's getting on well from what I can see. Here she comes. Just wait to show us ours. Here she is,
Hello.
Rhonda. How are you getting on? Oh, wow.
Oh, I love the choice of paper. Oh, Rhonda, you have smashed through that. You have literally covered the whole lot.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Absolutely gorgeous.
Absolutely gorgeous. Love the pink tones as well when it comes to the layers. That works an absolute treat. How have you enjoyed doing the craft along, Rhonda?
Well, I always love doing the craft alongs.
Oh.
I do like, however, being able to see a cutting sheet beforehand.
Okay.
It makes it a lot easier.
That's good to know. Good to know then. Yeah, well, maybe that will benefit you if, well, you're joining me on Tuesday's craft along. Keep an eye on social. We'll pop these instructions out. But it's been so lovely to see how you've been creating your project, following along with Debbie's instructions. Absolutely fab, wasn't that, Debbie?
You enjoyed that?
Really
Well,
good.
I've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed it.
I've totally
I hope Rhonda
enjoyed
has
it.
as well. I hope, and literally, you've now taken a lovely project and giving your little twist on it with those gorgeous papers. It's beautiful. I love the Country Lane papers. It's one of my favourite pads, and that looks beautiful worked again. We were talking about that just before, when I couldn't locate my butterfly one, and I went, oh, would the Country Lane work? You've just proved it did, because it looks joyous, absolutely gorgeous. So I'm glad you've enjoyed it. The only difference that I want to add on mine, and when I completed this was, you all know I like a jewel or two.
Yes.
I've just scattered some gems, literally took my tacky glue and scattered along the outside. And if I just move that one out of the way, because I'm going to finish that in a second, but literally just, can you see that twinkle?
Look at that.
There you go.
Oh,
so absolutely, it's been a joy. I've loved doing this craft along. I've really enjoyed it, and I've really enjoyed it. And all I say is, take your butterflies and go around, and possibly, if you are sending this to someone, perhaps put a sheet of maybe white in the centre panels. Maybe put a bit of Let me get my fingers the right way around. Put a bit of white in there. So again, you can... there's somebody coming to say goodbye to you, Rhonda.
For you, Rhonda. A special goodbye to you.
I could see him coming
Hi,
in.
Rhonda.
Aww.
You made my day.
Aww.
My biggest fan.
Aww. Oh, you got
kisses
loads
as
of
well.
kisses.
There you go. Are you on
Hang on
Tuesday?
a minute, Rhonda, hang on a minute. I do all the hard work. I didn't get a kissy blown. And our lovely Johnny waltzes in the studio. He just comes on in. I totally understand, let me tell you, Rhonda. I totally understand because he is a diamond.
He is, isn't he?
John is an absolute diamond.
Oh, Rhonda, thank you so much for joining in Debbie's Craft Along. I will see you then on Tuesday with my Craft Along with Say It with Flowers. It's going to be an absolute pleasure. Have a lovely rest of the day. Take care, and I'll see you on Tuesday.
Bye.
See you later. What a fab but quick couple of hours that's been, Debbie.
It's flown, hasn't
Flown
it?
in.
Yeah, it's absolutely flown by. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have, because I really have enjoyed this one. And I hope you've taken some inspiration, as usual, Timeless Butterflies, with a different twist on a card. I love a cube card. If you know me, you know, you'll understand. But I love cube cards, and this is a little twist on that. So I'm hoping you've enjoyed it too. But yeah, it's been fabulous. I've really, really enjoyed myself, Craig. Thank you very much. And I know Craig's super excited, can I tell you? Because at 6 p.m. UK time. And let me tell you, this guy has worked really hard with the team and handpicked, I want to say handpicked everything, and put together bundles and asked. He's been cheeky. Can I tell you, on your behalf, he's been really cheeky. And he's got some stonking great big deals, which I know if you didn't catch that wake-up call, go and have a look.
Definitely.
And if you want to see what's the mystery bags all about, and the great new idea that I've told you these grab bags are going to catch on.
I think
these grab bags. If you want to see more, you need to join us, don't they, Craig?
Absolutely, 100%, Debbie. These and so much more are going to be coming up, as Debbie says, on Cartload, 6 o'clock here in the UK, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time. Do get across, because lots of them have been very, very busy already. It's going to be 2 hours jam-packed, and as to what Debbie said as well, I do feel as though I worked hard to try and kind of combine them all. They're all going to work well together. That's going to be in a couple of hours if you're watching live. Have a lovely couple of hours until we come back, and we will see you for Cartload. See you then.